Every day was like a comedy show with Jean and James. They would be rolling during lunch times in the cafeteria. It's like they would, you know who they reminded me of? The Odd Couple, the sitcom that aired during the 60s with two guys that were roommates that had personalities and lifestyles that were different as night and day. That's who they reminded me of. They would sit there and crack jokes on each other and insult each other. And as fast as James would turn his back, Jean would start talking about him. And I can remember this occasion where Jean had told me that one day when they got paid on a Friday, he took James to go look for some drugs. And I remember thinking, well, if you were stupid enough to actually take him to go buy the drugs, then you must be a participant. You must be actually sharing those drugs with him. Because I don't understand how a rational adult would put themselves at risk like that otherwise. He also complained about how, besides the fact that James never contributed financially to the household, that he didn't clean up after himself and he was very inconsiderate. Like I said before in the other video, James didn't buy his own groceries and he relied on Jean to provide food for him. Jean had told me that one day he went to the store and bought a whole carton of orange juice, and he was looking forward to coming home from work and pouring himself a nice, tall, cold glass of orange juice. But then when he went in the fridge to grab the container of orange juice, it was empty. James had drunk up the whole freaking cart of orange juice and put the empty container back in the refrigerator for John. That's a lot of fucking nerve. If you're gonna live off of somebody, at least make yourself useful. Don't become a burden on people, because eventually you're gonna wear out your welcome. He wasn't paying any rent, so the least he could do is to cover his own personal expenses and clean up after himself and even do some chores around the house, but he wasn't even willing to do that. And I gotta give it to him. James had a lot of personality and charm and charisma. And I think that's the reason why he was able to get away with as much as he did. Charisma and the ability to talk to people and to bond with people and to make them feel special will take you places that education and technical skills or technical knowledge will never be able to take you. I think it's a very important tool to have in your arsenal of life skills. Oh, and then there was this other occasion that James was telling me about, where one weekend after they both had got paid, they drove down to a popular casino in the area. James had basically gambled away his entire paycheck and had nothing left. So he went to Jean and asked if he could borrow like $30 or $40. I forget the exact amount, but anyway, Jean loaned him the money. Believe it or not, James was able to come up off of that little $30 or $40 to the tune of like $500 or $600. And don't you know that James didn't even have the decency to repay the money that Jean had loaned him? I mean, at the very least, he should have given the man something as a token of appreciation for even loaning him the money for him to gamble and come up off of. James realized that Jean is a pushover, and he used that to his advantage. I never found out what became of those two and whether Jean ever mustered up the courage to put James out, because Eventually, I just got tired of working at that place, and I ain't gonna lie, I hated on those people. I quit, and I didn't even give them a notice. That's how sick of that place I had become. It just after a while, it became like a drain on my energy. There was just so much negativity that I could feel in the atmosphere. So I just stopped showing up. But I did see Jean like a year after I stopped working there, and he seemed to be in good spirits, and he was still working there. And from what I heard, uh, James was still working there too. Anyway, I guess that'll do it for today. Bye.